Okay, I have a little application here, .NET application, that we are going to put into a Docker image to run as a container. Also, we are going to run different versions of this application in multiple containers on the same computer. Okay, this is just a simple basic application. It just returns when we call get all users. It will return Alice and Bob, just two records. This is an API application. Okay, let's run it to see how it works. Go to terminal, say .NET run. Okay, it's serving on this address. Copy, and we're going to open on our browser users. Okay, see here is returning, we are getting Alice and Bob, two records. So the small API is working. Now what we really want to do with this little application is put it into a Docker image. Okay, let me cancel process, stop the API. Okay, exit here. So we will go to terminal here. I am inside the directory of the API. If I list files, I have here the service, all the files. I have one file here, Docker file. This file is special for Docker and it contains the steps to build the Docker image with our application. Okay, let's take a look. Okay, this is so we start building this image first from this base image, Microsoft.com.NET SDK 10. We are going to call this image. The alias will be built. We create a subdirectory there, src, and then we copy this file, the C# project. This file contains the list of libraries, packages, whatever it needs, whatever our project needs. So it will copy first the single file into the image, from our local computer into the image, whatever is the directory. But previously we said this is going to be the default, the working directory. So this file is going to go into the Docker image, into this file, into this directory, I'm sorry. Okay. Next is going to execute this command, restore the C# project file, which is going to bring any library, any packages, everything it needs into this directory inside the image. Next, we are going to copy whatever we have on our local computer in the current directory, which is this directory, my API, all these files, into whatever is the current directory in the image, which would be src. After that, we execute this command. We say .NET publish. So it's going to compile and generate files for this project. The configuration here is release, so it doesn't include the debugging tools, so nothing. It just is for release, for production, in other words. The output in the image, we want to put it in this place, app publish subdirectory, and here we are saying use app host false, which means for .NET this application will be cross-platform. It can run in Windows, Linux, So here we are saying do not create the exe file. Okay. After that, we are going to, this image has been used to compile and build the application, okay, like in development environment. The next step is the actual image that we are going to end up with. So here we are using .NET ASP.NET 10. The alias we want to use is final. In this image we create a subdirectory app, and then we copy from build. Remember, build is the alias for this image, the previous image where we built the application. Okay, from that image, copy whatever we have in app publish, which contains all compile all files of our application, copy that into the current directory on this image. So the current directory is app subdirectory. So it will bring all whatever this command produce into this subdirectory, which is only the application. And then at the end we said execute this command with these parameters. So it will run .NET myapi.dll. So the API will start up. That's what's going to happen. Okay. All right. Let's execute this file. So the way we do it is we say docker build. We're going to use it. We will tag it as, let's call it my API, and the version will be 1.0. When Docker starts to build this image, it will use this file, Docker file. Okay, and then the last parameter is where is the directory is going to work on, or where is the Docker file located. We are going to say period, which is the current directory. Okay, and then it will build our image. Okay, and it's done. Now we are going to see, now our application is actually a Docker image. We are going to check Docker image list. Here it is. We have our image, my API version 1.0. This is the size, everything. Okay. Now, if I check how many containers I have in Docker right now, I will say Docker container list. There is none, no containers. So let me run and start a new container. I will say Docker run in detach mode. The name for my container is going to be, I will call it my app version 1.0. The port, I need to map the port. By default, the ASP.NET Core application runs on port 8080, so that's why I'm going to map that port 8080 on my computer. Will connect to the port 8080 on the Docker image, and the Docker image used to trigger this container will be my API 1.0, which is this image right here. That's what we're going to specify here. Okay? Okay, it's done. Now let's check Docker container list here it is. This is the container, the ID, the image is based on the command, the entry point, and the name of my container is my app version 1. Okay, now the container is running. How do we know? Let's test it. Here we can see the port is serving at 8080. So I'm going to open up my browser. This time I'm going to go to HTTP localhost on my computer. I'm going to port 8080/users. There it is. So this data came from our container. Okay, it's working. Now, what happens if we want, let's say, we update our application and we release a newer version? Let's simulate that step. So I will say, let's say here, let's do a change. I'm going to add one more record, for example. I will say user 3. Child is fine, that's the email. Okay. But also, okay, just that, a simple change. Okay. I will save it. Now, let me compile it just in case. Maybe I did any mistake. .NET, I'm sorry, .NET build. Let's see if it builds successfully. Good, succeeded. It's fine. Okay. Now let's go back to the terminal here. We have one container running. I'm going to clear the screen. Okay. Now I'm going to, let's see, Docker image list. I have one image. Now I'm going to create another image with my latest version of the API. So I will say Docker build. I will target this time my API version 1.1 on this current directory. So we'll build the latest version. Okay, it's done. Now let me clear the screen and let's see how many images we have. List. Now we have two images. One is 1.0 and the other 1.1. Good. And containers, Docker container list. We only have one container running right now, serving. Okay, I'm going to have another container now. So we say Docker run detach mode name. I'm going to name it this, let's call it my app, the same, version 1.1. The port, the same, no, hold on, here, I cannot use 8080 again because there is a container here. See here, this container is already using 8080 on my host. So if I refresh this page, still running, but is using 8080, I cannot use again this port on my computer. On my computer will be 8081, for example, a different port. It will be mapped to the same port, 8080, on the Docker container. So each Docker container is independent, separate. So the Docker container is serving on port 8080, but I'm going to use my port 8081 to connect to the Docker container port. Okay, lastly, the image. This will be based on image my API version 1.1. Okay, now if I check Docker run, Docker container list, I have two containers. Okay, now let's check. I would say, let's open another window here. Okay. This container serving HTTP localhost 8081 users bang. Okay, let's see. Here, this is the version 1.1 running. I get I'm sorry, I don't know what I'm doing here. 3 records, Alice, Bob, and Charlie. Meanwhile, this container is still running with my previous version, which returns only 2 records. So I have 2 containers running, okay? This way, we can have multiple containers with multiple versions of our application. We can compare, we can test them. Okay, so to finish now, I'm going to build an image, a Docker image, and then I will push it to the cloud, to the Docker Hub repository. So other fellow developer somewhere else and another in a different city can download the image and run it on his computer. Okay, let's see how it's done. For that, let's make a change first here. To distinguish, let me do uppercase. Do upper, okay, copy. I will return all names in uppercase. That's it. Okay, that's the change. And this is going to be a new version. So we'll say, but in order for me to push my image to Docker repository, I need to specify my repository, the destination. So here I am in hubdocker.com. I created an account. It's free. I have a repository here, my custom API, for example. You see here my name, Roger Copa. That's the username, and under my username I can have multiple repositories. I'm going to push my image here. So to do that, I need to build the image. Well, hold on. I need to log in first. I will say Docker login. So it's authenticating. It's connecting my computer into my Docker Hub account. Login succeeded. Okay, I'm connected. I'm logged in. And now I can build my image. I will say Docker how is this? Okay. Build my API 1.2 on the current directory, but no. This time I need to tag it in a different way. It has to be Roger Copa. That's my Docker Hub account, and my repository is called my custom API, and the version for this application will be 1.2 on the same directory. Okay, build. Okay, it's building and it's done. Okay, now I need to push, let's see, Docker image, hold on, let me clear the screen. Docker image list. I have 3 images, but this one is going to go to the cloud, to the Docker Hub. So the way I upload it is Docker push. I'm going to push Roger Coppa, my custom API 1.2. That's the image I'm going to push. Okay, it's doing its work. Okay, it's done. It has pushed this local image to Docker Hub. Let's check. If I go to my Docker account here, if I refresh, I have nothing here, but if I refresh, well, this, I have to go in, I'm sorry. Have to go in. Okay, I am inside my account, Roger Coppa, my repository, my custom API. Here we can see 1.2. That's the tag that we put for my application, the one we built it here. We said this is it, 1.2. Okay, Docker push. All right, so this is the image. Now, let's imagine I am a different person, another developer in a different city, and I want to test edge cases, for example, for this API to see how it works. So I am a different developer. On this computer now, I don't have .NET Framework, I have nothing, just Docker, okay? I don't have any library package relating to the API application, nothing. That's the beauty of the Docker image. The Docker image contains everything, the application itself, the packages, libraries, configuration, whatever it needs is all contained in the Docker image. Okay, so I'm going to download it. I will say Docker. I can say pull to download the image, but I can, you know what? To see it working, let me delete this image because I want it to download it from the repository, from Docker Hub. So Docker image remove Roger Coppa API. Okay, let me check Docker image list. Okay, it's gone, it's not there. So now I can simulate. I am a different developer in a different place, and I'm going to say Docker run detach mode name. We're going to name it I will say Roger's API version 1.2. Okay, and then I will say port will be 8085, for example, the container I know, since it's an ASP.NET Core, is 8080. And the image here will be Roger Coppa slash my custom API version 1.2. That's what I want. This is the image, and this is the place where it's going to be downloaded, the image. Okay. Run it. Unable to find. So because this image is not in my local computer, so it goes to the cloud and downloads the file from Docker Hub. Now, if I check my running containers, container list, okay, here I have 3 containers. My API 1.0, 1.1, and this one just downloaded, Roger Coppa Maya. Okay, I name it Roger API 1.2. Now, let's see. This is the last part. Okay, let's open another window. Remember, these applications, API applications, they are still running. This still running on my computer. The other one, if I refresh, still running. It returns 3 records. And the last version was having uppercase the usernames. Let's see. http://localhost. I map it to 8085 users. Okay. Yes, it's working. This container downloaded from Docker Hub to my computer is running. Here I can, of course, it could be a different application where I can enter in a web form some information and test it, you know. But the thing we want to see is that we can run multiple containers on our same computer, also different versions of the application. Okay, that will be for this session. We'll talk next time.